the three words, in terms of rethinking and redefining diversity, equity, and inclusion, is growth, inclusion, and safety. Growth in terms of organisational growth and also in terms of personal growth. And that's what the book on talent management is about, actually. How can we ensure that people grow in the organisation, that they are recognised, they are valued, and the people who actually are succeeding in the organisations are getting into those positions because they are capable, intelligent individuals who are not being judged just on superficial characteristics. And inclusion, and I co-authored a book with our colleague Dr. Ashley Williams, we're writing about LGBTQ plus inclusion. It's an example. We've written about many other topics, but LGBTQ plus inclusion it's a topic that people kind of think we've achieved, mission accomplished kind of thing. And we've made a lot of progress, and there's no doubt about that. But the 20th century, in terms of homophobic attitudes, is probably the worst century that ever was in terms of and we've covered the history of LGBTQ in the book. And it's probably the worst century. And you had the combination of religion, which has kind of been there for, the religious sentiment has kind of existed for a few hundred years, not forever, for a few hundred years. Is then in the 20th century, you also then had the really powerful combination, which adds to the religious beliefs of science and the law. And that creates this environment then where the completely outcast are criminalised, treated as an illness, seen as degenerate. These are actually words that were used. And the previous century only ended 25 years ago. And what we're failing to acknowledge is that whilst there has been a tremendous change, there's no doubt there's been a tremendous change, there's still a long way to go. And we can't ignore it. And it is ignored, actually. So we focus on gender and we might focus on race. It's not diversity. And then here we have a topic and we're just bringing this into the conversation, saying there's a lot more work to be done here. And then the last element of this, and that's the third book that's coming out later this year, is on psychological safety at work. And you can see that psychological safety, and it's a part of our inclusive leader model anyway, and part of our inclusive teams model, is that psychological safety is actually embedded in our inclusive leader and inclusive teams work. But it's just useful just to expand that and look at what this means in practice.